From fans refusing to watch the pay-per-view match to promoter Frank Warren rooting for Daniel, these are some fans' predictions for Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. It looks like the audience couldn't care less about the upcoming match. The bout will take place in Poland on August 26th, but the fact that it's going to be a pay-per-view event isn't sitting right with fans. To them, the match just isn't worth it. They were hoping to see Usyk butt heads with Fury, but negotiations fell through, and settling for this pairing isn't creating any buzz. Fans rushed to tweet their thoughts. At best, they think the match will only sell 30,000 buys. On the other hand, the possible Fury versus Ngannou fight in comparison has created a lot of heat. Fans believe that it will easily top 1 million sales in the UK alone. The match is set to broadcast on TNT Sports PPV, and while fans may not care about what's about to go down, that isn't the case for Usyk. He's got his whole career's worth of titles to defend. Oleksandr, a boxing champion from Ukraine, will defend his WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight titles in 2023. The champion who earned his first world championship in Poland is super excited about his fight. On the other side, the WBA heavyweight title is held by 25-year-old Dubois. The English boxer has lost only once while winning 19 matches with 18 knockouts. As for his Ukrainian foe, he holds the honor of going undefeated in 20 of his professional contests and breezed through his match against Anthony Joshua in 2022. Except Daniel isn't Joshua. His sister is convinced he can KO Usyk. To her, Dubois' size and punching power are going to easily make him win the fight. In her own words, this is heavyweight boxing, the kingdom of the one-punch knockouts. She believes it's a 50-50 fight. Underestimating Daniel would be the biggest mistake fans and Usyk would make. She even broke down why Anthony was no challenge for the huge Ukrainian, saying that Joshua was too big and slow for Usyk. And with Dubois being younger and fresher than him, he won't give up as easily. Take, for example, the tense face-off. Dubois believes he saw fear in the eyes of Oleksandr during their face-off. The kickoff press conference finally let us see both of them lock eyes and compare their physical strength. Easily, Daniel is much bigger than Usyk, but technically, he is slower and lacks head movement. This could make him an easy target for Oleksandr's punches. He was a top prospect before he lost to Joe Joyce in 2020. Since then, Daniel has won 4 fights, including a third-round knockout of Kevin Lerena in December. He is a 7-1 underdog to defeat Usyk in his next fight. Now, Dubois is a big puncher, but let's not forget, he was knocked down 3 times in the first round of his fight with Lerena. Usyk is a much more experienced and technically skilled boxer than Kevin. Not to mention, the Ukrainian's also a southpaw, which could give him an advantage against Dubois. To top it all off, after Russia invaded his country last year, he enlisted in the Ukraine army. Usyk isn't gearing up to win just to defend his titles, but he's doing this for his country. The match is taking place on the weekend of Ukrainian Independence Day. It's not just Usyk's ego that is pushing him to win, but his patriotism too. The Ukrainian heavyweight champion has thanked Poland for its role in offering a place of refuge to Ukrainians. Oleksandr's very glad that the fight was being held there, because the country has welcomed over 3 million Ukrainian refugees since the start of the war. His sentiments come as Poland continues to help affected people. For him, this fight is a chance to show his support for his country and pay back Poland for its help. This is why he's serious about his training too. Oleksandr is currently in training camp for his upcoming fight. The secret to his success? Sparring with 2 opponents at once. This is a challenging workout that helps Usyk improve his footwork, reflexes, and timing. It also forces him to think quickly and make split-second decisions. Sparring with 2 opponents is not without its risks. Usyk could get injured if he is not careful. But to him, the benefits of this training method outweigh the risks. The 36-year-old needs to maintain his physique, and he's going to push his limits to do so. Not to mention his trainer Malik Scott already guaranteed him a win against Joshua, so he's more than ready to take down Daniel. Speaking of Dubois, he's taking drastic steps to win. In a shocking turn of events, he's made a major change in his training camp. Dubois has once again changed trainers, marking the 4th time in his career. After parting ways with Shane McGuigan, the 25-year-old heavyweight is now working with Don Charles, renowned for his work with Derek Chisora. Dubois began his professional journey under Martin Bowers, but switched to Mark Tibbs following his defeat to Joe Joyce in 2021. But before even fighting with Tibbs, he joined forces with McGuigan. Under him, Dubois had 4 fights, including winning the WBA World Heavyweight title against Trevor Bryan in June 2021. 2022. With Charles as his latest trainer, he's well aware of his history of changing coaches. To him, it's like being a football manager. Everything boils down to the outcome of the match. Charles points to his successful partnership with Chisora and is ready to bet his money on Daniel. Dubois and Charles are now focused on their training and preparing for the challenges. As fight night approaches, all eyes will be on this new partnership. If anything, he's ready to go guns blazing. Huge favorite Dubois lost 3 times against Larina in a comically wild matchup, owing to a torn ACL before bringing the house down. Now, Dubois is clearing the air. His knee is doing great, and he's breaking a sweat training with Charles. According to him, Usyk had a great career, and it's time to put an end to his legacy. His coach believes fate has brought them together, and that he's destined to become a unified world champion. And even though Daniel's the clear underdog, Usyk's every breath is spent thinking about destroying him. Usyk's manager made it clear during the pre-fight press conference. They are not taking Dubois lightly, because they see how physically strong the guy is, and are not looking past Dubois. If anything, they're dedicating themselves to preparing 100% for the fight. This bout has more potential than meets the eye. It can lead them to one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Aegis reveals, from the moment they wake up until they go to bed, Usyk's thinking about Dubois. But to many, Daniel just does not have what it takes. Fans are betting their money on the Ukrainian. It's no secret that at 25 years of age, Dubois is simply not prepared for this level of competition. Heck, the 36-year-old Ukrainian is light years ahead of him. As for Daniel, he's shown weaknesses in recent fights, and facing Usyk would be a huge challenge. Sure, Dubois has a title belt, but it might have hurt him more than helped. It pushed him up in the rankings. But now he's facing an opponent he's not ready for. Despite the notable size difference on paper, Daniel is a natural heavyweight at 6 foot 5 inches tall and around 240 pounds. Oleksandr Usyk, on the other hand, is moving up from cruiserweight and standing at 6 foot 3 inches tall and weighing around 220 pounds. Some fans commented that there was barely a size difference between the two. One noted that even though Usyk is lighter in weight, he wouldn't look any different from Dubois in the ring. To them, it's like Daniel's wearing a noose around his neck instead of a shiny belt. Given how young he is, fans think Dubois still has a lot to learn in the heavyweight division. Going up against Usyk right now seems crazy and risky. He should take a step back and think about his long-term future, instead of rushing into a fight he can't handle. Dubois has a chance to make a smart decision and say no to the fight. Except he's got professionals backing him up. Promoter Frank Warren is confident that Daniel can shake things up. Even though Usyk's got status as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, Warren believes that Dubois has a real chance of defeating him. He points to Usyk's performances since moving up to the heavyweight division, highlighting how he struggled against Derek Chisora and had a lackluster fight against Anthony Joshua. To him, Daniel's a diamond in the rough. With his strong jab and surprising speed, Dubois can land painful punches and test Usyk's chin. Frank's frankly bored of Usyk. He's yet to see him deliver a jaw-dropping and dominant performance at heavyweight. As for his opponent, dubbed Dynamite for his explosive knockout power, Daniel quickly made a name for himself in the boxing world. In his professional debut in April 2017 at Manchester Arena, he stunned Marcus Kelly with a knockout victory in just 35 seconds. So maybe Frank's betting his money on the right man. His advice for Daniel: carpe diem. So, from promoter Frank Warren rooting for Dubois to fans refusing to watch the PPV match, these were fans' predictions for Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois.